Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and today is the LMS podcast. Gotta probably close my door. Okay, so LMS has gone absolutely terrible for me this year. Two and four back-to-back weeks without getting the games right either. So I'm only at 4 and 18 points and 4 and 18 points so far. That's only 8 out of 36. But let's get right into the match history. Again, still a little congested and stuffed up, so I'll be going through these match history as quick as I can. And then hopefully by tomorrow's podcast for NA and EU, then maybe I'll finally be not sick anymore. Fingers crossed. All right, game number one was AHQ versus G-Rex. Our series number one was AHQ versus G-Rex. I thought G-Rex would have had this series. I was wrong. AHQ came in. First game, absolutely had the game by a ton. Then they did throw, and when I was watching this, I was like, all right, this was a very long game. It was a 50-minute game, essentially. And they threw it, and I'm like, all right, we got that late game Sona. Late game Yasuo at the 0-4. He didn't quite hit the 0-10 power spike, but I still believed with the tank and Ornn and stuff. But it just wasn't enough. Even though they took another dragon or Baron after taking this first one after a few kills, there was the double Elder Drake buff. Double Elder Drake is just something you do not want to deal with. And as you can tell with that, even though they only got one kill, they just took all the towers completely down. As you can tell, they all went down around the same time because they just simply could not stop them. And barely took the lead again on that, but they did. Next game, though, G-Rex did come back with the Yasuo Gragas comp again. In this game, they were winning pretty much the whole game. They almost threw it here. They got some towers, but they did get aced, and I was worried that this was going to be another 50-minute game with a Sivir. 50-minute 500 CS Sivir is just the way to win games, possibly still. And did not happen, though, as then they lost the very next team fight and then lost the game. Next, we had G-Rex. We had AHQ versus G-Rex in the next game. This one was all AHQ, though. Ziv had a phenomenal Kennen game, 5-on-5. Again, AHQ pulling out the Sivir all three games. It worked in 2 of the 3 games. This one was huge because there was right at the beginning of the game, not even 3 minutes into the game, 4 kills to the enemy team, all on different people. So it's not necessarily like, oh, just one was fed. They all got a nice early head start, including an Infernal before 6 minutes with another 2 kills on top of that. Giving up 6 kills before 6 minutes against a team like HQ, it's just not going to work, especially when you give them Infernal as well. And as you can tell, they never recovered for the rest of the game. So G-Rex lost again. G-Rex does not look great this year. And PK, putting him on Ornn, I did not like that decision whatsoever. Next, we had Alpha versus Mad, and this series is why you never pick Mad. I should learn to never pick Mad against teams that are on the lower end of the standings. They play down to their opponents every time. Again, Sivir in the LMS is just, Sivir's popular everywhere, but as you can tell, Sivir's been winning almost every game she's in so far this week. But then we had Kai'Sa and Nautilus, which I think is still a very good team comp as well. But this was a pretty back and forth game, as you could tell, and didn't ever pass 2K gold until the 32nd minute mark when eventually Zhao Mo got 4 kills on the Sivir. Nice quadra kill. And when you get 4 kills at 30 minutes on Sivir and she's still alive because the only death was on the Syndra, you're going to pretty much win a game because of the amount of wave clear you can do and the amount of pushing power you have after that, which is what they did. They took 3 towers and they took the Inhib tower, 2 Nexus towers, and then the Nexus to win the game. It was a close game before that, though, but even though Alpha was in the lead the whole time, I just assumed Mad was going to win at one point because Uniboy was also 3-1, and he was just having some excellent engages, but it just wasn't, they always blow it. Because as you can see, game number 2, never had the lead in this game at all, and they gave up the early 4-minute Infernal, gave up First Blood to the Jarvan, and just everything just sucks. I'm upset because I'm doing really bad in my predictions, and I took pride in having over a 70% pick rate in LMS, and I almost was at 70%, blew it towards the end. I think I was at 68, 67% at the end of the year, and now I'm sitting here at 33%? That's unacceptable. I'm 4-8 now after 12 games. Ugh. But yes, Mad did not look good. at all against Alpha, and they don't usually look good against bad teams, but they still find a way to beat them at the end of the day. Game number 1, I'm like, okay, Flash Wolves is back. Hanabi 9-0-6 on the Vladimir with the Rabadon, just absolutely disgusting. How much damage did he do this game? 26k. It felt like 50k, honestly, but 26k on Vlad in only 34-minute game is huge. Just because of the amount of time he needs to scale. Rest did not have a good game. 05 and Kennen, obviously. Just got beat out of lane. And when you get beat out of lane, I mean, not necessarily out of lane. He didn't die until 21 minutes, but he never took advantage of the fact that Vlad never died in lane against the Kennen is being beat out of lane, per se. We also had the Renekton for Rather and Betty playing the Sona, which I didn't necessarily. He went 3-2 and 13. Wasn't bad. I just don't like Betty on Sona, it's kind of like double with, where I wanted to see him on 80 carries instead. Let me just check my team fight tactics. Okay, I'm 10-minute queue. Doing this in the middle of a team fight tactic queue because the queues are 30 minutes long right now, so that's not fun. Next game we had JT versus Flash Wolves, and Flash Wolves did lose this game. They brought back the Son Tarek. I do not agree with this at all for Betty. Betty needs to be on the ADC. Also picked it into Draven, which is not the best pick to do because Draven just is going to smash it and Azir is going to outpoke it. Azir really outpoked Vlad as well, so this was just very good drafting by JT, not so much by Flash Wolves. And as you can tell, they pretty much were winning the entire game by a rather solid margin after 3k gold lead by 18 minutes and never lost the lead. And then Flash Wolves got defeated again. They did pick him on the Sivir, and they picked the Yuumi with it, which is one of the best supports, but they just lost to the Zyracom bot lane. Is just too good. Though, to be fair, they didn't die too much in lane. Sorry, my voice is failing me again. But this game, as you can tell, which is another slow increase until right here, early 20-minute Baron. And honestly, it looks like on here that they took the Baron before 20 minutes, but it was exactly at 20 minutes that they took the Baron. One of the fastest Baron takes in all professional league this year. Took it right as it spawned, and pretty much from there, Flash Wolves just had no way to contest. I say that, but they honestly did kind of ward off the Baron. They only gave up a tower for it and a dragon, but the extra Baron right after that, though, and just the positioning around the map, it was all J-Team. It's kind of hard to explain with just a graph, but pretty much J-Team had full control of this game. And these two Barons, as you can tell, they took it right away and then took it immediately when it spawned again. And then they took a third one over here and eventually won the game. Next, we have HKA versus Alpha Esports. HKA Alpha Esports coming off their win against Mad. You'd think they'd be on fire, but no, this is where you prove that it's just Mad being Mad, where they just Alpha Esports. Nothing really happened in this game. I'm going to be frankly honest with you. This game was very, very boring to watch. We had like one team fight around the dragon. We had two team fights around the dragons. Okay, it's fine. We had two team fights around dragons, but that wasn't much. And then there wasn't anything until the 22-minute mark where Hong Kong had to just completely ace them, losing the Pike in return, but acing them and getting a Baron. Totally worth, and then off of that very Baron, they ended the game. So all it took was one Baron and two good team fights and a Baron to win this entire game for Hong Kong Attitude. So Alpha really, really lost it at that Baron because they have no good long range wave clear. It's short range, and then obviously melee. Next, Alpha Esports did come back and win the game against HKA in the second one. They pulled off the Sona top Kench into Varus Yuumi. I apologize. This cold is just ruining my podcast. It sucks. It really sucks. How you can go down pretty much from one cold and you can't do any of your work properly. Game was all in Alpha's favor. Then they threw the Baron like we usually see, but they overcame it. Even though they lost another Baron, while they lost that Baron, they were taking all the nibs, backdooring, getting kills, and they just won the game off of it. It was pretty impressive, honestly. Because most teams, after losing a Baron in a team fight like that, especially to a late game Azir, and honestly even a late game Varus, who only had 2 items, so he really didn't get to too much late game for Unified and Mission, but they usually give up after that point, or just like they're on tilt. But they did, Alpha overcame that and persisted, which is nice to see for a team that's towards the cellar in the LMS. Application there, Hong Kong Attitude 1. Next, we had Flash Wolves versus Mad. Unfortunately for Flash Wolves' sake, they did not win this game. They had it. They took this Baron, they took the Infernal, they got a bunch of towers and inhib. They were down 4k before that team fight went around the Baron, but unfortunately, they only got it up to 2k, and then they lost again. The Fiora into Aatrox is just too strong of a counter. Liang just was, I mean, not the Hanabi did too bad at 3-2-1, but Liang at the 4-1-3, pretty strong performance as well. You also have Poppy the counter on Aurelia, and then I don't like Tom. Again, I don't know what Flash Wolves is doing, but having Betty on non-ADC champions, it's just not good. It is just not good at all. So I think that Flash Wolves is now 0-4, by the way. Spoiler alert. They lose the next game here, as you can tell. Right here. And they put Betty on Victor again. I don't know what they're doing. This is like if Team Liquid's like, okay, guys, we only want to play games where we put Doublelift on Vlad, Victor, and Sona. We're never putting Doublelift. Sorry, my nose is running right now. But we never want to pick Doublelift on an ADC again for the split. Let me grab the tissue. And you'd be like, oh, that's really dumb. That doesn't make any sense. And that's where I would agree. Because that's how Betty is like the Doublelift of LMS, where he's the best player in the LMS, and he's a very good ADC player, but he's not a very good mage player. And again, you saw Mad Team here. Mad Team did throw a little bit, but then they were able to recover as well. A lot of recovers this game. Not as many, a lot of throws, but not a lot of throws in the sense that they lose the game after, which is showing some strong mental for an LMS region. Next, we had J Team versus HQ, where J Team was able to come up victorious. We had just HQ was winning slightly, no more than 1k gold lead, 1.5k gold lead, nothing too serious. And then eventually the Baron fight around for J Team, and then just late game with Sivir. I mean, it's only 35 minutes, but a 34-minute game. But just late, once you get 35-minute game. Oh my god, I hate this cold. I wish it would go away, but once you get Azir and Sivir out, you're good to go. They were able to win the second game. HQ was actually able to pull out the win against J Team in game number 2, even though Fofo had a phenomenal LeBlanc game. 8-2-4. This is the game in solo queue where you type in better jungler wins in the all chat if you're Fofo. Hana had a terrible game on the Lee Sin, just constantly getting destroyed, and Alex went 2-1-8, which doesn't sound great, but he just had full control of the jungle, where Hana was just so far behind. He only had 2 items in a 37-minute game, so the fact that Lee Sin falls off pretty hard as well, so does Olaf, but the fact that Olaf was able to stay relevant and Lee Sin was not, should tell you all you need to know. Also, 4.3k damage for Lee Sin should also tell you all you need to know about how this game went. Application error on the final, but J-Team did win that game, as you can see down here. J-Team was able to beat HQ in the final game to start out 4-0 and start out really strong, kind of like they did last year, where J-Team started out really strong and then fell off towards the end of the year. But, well, hopefully this year, with the LMS being even weaker, personally, that they should be able to keep that up. Because I liked J-Team last year, and I actually had them as my team going to MSI. Unfortunately, it was not. It was Flash Wolves who upset Mad, and J-Team finished in 4th, I believe. So it wasn't even, they weren't even, like, close. They were, like, a favorite coming in for me, and they really failed the last, like, 3 weeks. Sorry for wiping my nose on stream. Again, just running. Anyway, let's quickly go over the power rankings here for week 3. It says week 2, but week 3. J-Team, this should be yellow. They are staying at my number 1 team. Another phenomenal week, taking down both AHQ and Flash Wolves. I know Flash Wolves is 0-4, but even though I have, and then I'll explain that in a second. Mad is dropped down to number 2 because they did lose to. Actually, Mad was number 2 last time. My bad. Those two were supposed to both be yellow. But yeah, Mad losing to Alpha was pretty bad, but beating Flash Wolves I thought kept them at number 2. I've seen this from them before where they always lose to the bad teams, so I hold it. I should hold it against them more, but I'm not just because I always see them lose here, all the time. So I think they'll still be fine. They still should probably be able to compete with J Team. Unfortunately, they just lost to a pretty low team in the standings. HKA moves on up after their victory over Alpha Esports. They were 4th last week, but I believe I had I had G-Rex number 3rd last week. They're gone way down with their loss against AHQ. They've dropped to number 5. HQ and HK both went up to 3-4. Alpha's moved up to number 6 with their. I don't think this Alpha team is necessarily strong. I know I said at the beginning of the year I thought they were going to be strong. Unfortunately, from watching their games, they don't look much better than last split. But they did take down Mad, and they looked really good doing that. And like I said, even in the games they lost at least, so they look better than last split, but not too much. But it deserved them, even though I think personally. Sorry, I just coughed right into the mic. But without muting. But even though I think personally this Flash Wolves team is better than Alpha, this is putting them in last is more of an angry put in last place. You're 0-4 and you're Flash Wolves. You haven't lost the LMS in 6 years. What are you doing? And you're putting Betty on all these mages. If you're gonna put Betty on mages, Flash Wolves is the worst team in the LMS and probably the worst team in all 5 regions of the major regions. If you put Betty on ADCs, put him back on Kaisa. Kaisa's still fine in the meta. Sivir, Zaya, you got all these. Ezreal, they're all still good options. You don't have to put them on this Victor and Sona crap. Don't do that to Betty. If they don't think of it soon, they're going to be missing the playoffs because only 4 teams make the playoffs. And they're already 2 out and there's only 7 weeks of the season. I just realized after this week, we have a week break. Oh, interesting. Probably for the Rift Rival break, but I don't think Elmas has Rift Rivals anymore. Anyway, let's get right into our predictions. Week 3, we have Flash Wolves versus HKA, where this one is going to be all Flash Wolves, I think. Personally, I think that Flash Wolves is... No, sorry. All HKA. I think that Flash Wolves is not going to win a game if they are going to keep playing Betty on Victor. If I keep seeing him on Sona and Victor... If they don't, I still honestly think they lose to HKA. No, I don't. I'm. This is what makes this tough to predict, because I think if you put Betty on Kaisa, you're gonna win in the LMS. You're gonna be fine. You have Hanabi, Rather's pretty good, Boogie's alright. You're gonna win. Putting him on the other stuff, and you're not gonna win at all. So my prediction is going off of what they've shown in the first 2 weeks. Is they're going to only play Victor and Sona, and they're just trying these wacky mage bot lanes. And because of that, I'm picking 2-0 HKA. If I don't want to burn my asterisk, we always have an asterisk on the podcast. I won't burn it now. Mad versus AHQ. I think that Mad should be able to take down AHQ. Like I said before, I think this will be a 2-1 close series, but I think Mad plays up to their opponent's level, so HQ is a good opponent, so they'll be actually good against them. If they were playing against a lower opponent, not so much. Alpha versus Flash Wolves. This one, I'm actually will pick Flash Wolves in it because I think that this is assuming here they go mages for a 5th time against HKA, and they're going to lose that game, and they're going to be 0-5 with only 1 team left to face on the year, and on the first round robin, and that's going to be Alpha. And if they lose there, they pretty much can call the season goodbye. So they're going to go back to the ADCs in series number 3. And they're going to be only playing Ezreal Kaisa for the rest of the split. Those are the only 2 ADCs that the only 2 picks you're gonna see Betty on, unless they get banned. Then maybe you're gonna see them on something else. Maybe some Sivir. You'll probably see Sivir as well. So 3. I think Flash Wolves win 2-0 because they put them right back on the. I don't know why I kept typing in there. I was trying to get it to go over here, but they'll put Betty back on his ADCs, and they will actually carry and win the damn games. J Team versus G-Rex. I don't trust G-Rex at all right now. They look terrible. PK does not look very good especially when he's playing on tanks. J Team's on fire. This one's an easy prediction for me. Next, we have G-Rex versus Alpha. I really think this one should be up in the air, but I'm actually going to pick the upset here with Alpha because, like I just said, G-Rex is also like Flash Wolves. It's super disappointing me this split. So unfortunately for them, I am picking Alpha for the first real upset. And I need to make some bold predictions because I am actually doing really bad in my predictions right now. What I think should happen is not happening at all. So I got to spice it up a little bit. And finally, HKA versus AHQ. Probably game of the week. I may be mad at AHQ too. Those are the two games to actually look forward to this week for LMS. I personally think HKA is slightly better than AHQ. I don't know if it's just the team or what, but even last split I kind of underestimate AHQ a little bit. Like I don't like AHQ's like team comp as much. I feel like their drafts and stuff don't go as well as they should. But yeah, I have HKA beating them in a close one, 2-1. But that is going to be the podcast. Thank you guys for coming to watch today. Sorry that I am still sick and it's kind of a scuffed podcast in general. With the congestion and the like throat drying out by talking. I'm usually fine during the day, but when I do this like 20 plus minutes of talking straight, my throat just goes instantly dry. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I can improve my picks so you guys can actually understand, because I say all this stuff that's going on in the LMS. Usually it works when I'm doing like 70% pick rate, so you can be like, oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about. When he's at 33% pick rate, I don't know what I'm talking about apparently. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow will also be the NALCS and the LCS and the LEC podcast, and we'll go straight into Rift Rivals after that. So don't miss that one. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night.